So let's now maybe step back and talk about strategy, because a great architecture really means little if the strategy behind can't really stand the test of time, if you will. So the question is for Karthik. Again, everybody kind of talks about building this future-proof data strategy, but what does that really mean in practice? What are maybe some of the core ingredients that make it sustainable in the first place?
No, that's a great question. I think we hear this question a lot, right? Wherever you go, this is something that everyone asks for. So when we talk about, or when organizations talk about future proofing their data strategy, it's not about speculating on the next generation technologies or the next generation tools that they are forecasting in, to come in the next couple of years, because it's very hard to forecast in this environment that we are in. And it's about constructing actually a foundation that natively supports change. So tools evolves, teams will re-architect, regulations will shift, but what matters is that whether your data architecture can adapt with minimal rework.
Hmm.
Can it adapt to new technologies and tools? Can it adapt to new data sources at ease? And that's probably the foundational question that organizations should answer when they talk about future proofing their data strategy. And also, there is a difference between future proofing data strategy versus future proofing data management strategy. So, data ready strategy is aligning your data to the use case that your business wants. Whereas data management strategy is a lot more than that. It actually starts with identifying the right data to your business use case, but and all the way to deploying and data ops management as well. So it's not just identifying the data that you need for the business and then just building that data, but it's also making sure you take the data, develop it, put all the governance in place, and then take it all the way to deployment and have a strong data ops management in practice. So that's, in our view, a very strong way of saying future proofing our data strategy. So there are four key practices that needs to be implemented part of your data strategy, data analytics strategy. The first one would be transparency. So this is more about having all the lineage, all the data catalog that you have. I think Jain explained that in his previous example, so that the business teams know the value of the data. So they know what data they have and know what the value the data that they have possess. The second one is scalability, right? How prepared are you for all the Gen AI advancements that we are seeing in the industry now? How can your platform or the data strategy scale to new cloud solutions, any new tools, any new technologies? So all of this comes under the scalability. Then you have accessibility, which is again data democratization, right? So how do you make sure the business teams or anyone in the organizations can understand and see the data, access the data easily, which is very hard in the past few decades that we've seen, especially for business insights and users who don't have access to the data directly. Then how do you make sure you can apply analytics, you can integrate it with APIs, you can integrate it with knowledge graphs and with your partnering ecosystems as well. So making sure your data is very accessible and thoroughly accessible to anyone up the chain. The final point is about reliability, right? Single source of truth, getting the same answer. So it is very important these days, especially with Gen AI and AI models in picture. Every time I ask a question, I should get exactly the same answer. There shouldn't be any hallucinations. I shouldn't get two different answers. There shouldn't be any bias. So if you can future proof your data analytics strategy with these 4 points: transparency, scalability, accessibility, and reliability, I think it's a sound way of starting your strategy and making everything work for your organization.
Thank you.